Have you ever asked a question so big, you felt like you had to ask the whole universe for an answer? Well, get ready for a story about a 6-year-old boy who did just that. His name was Leo, and his question was simple, yet profound. Where do we go when we sleep? This wasn't just a fleeting thought for Leo. It was a cosmic puzzle that kept him up at night. His mom would tell him, "You go to dreamland, sweetie." And his dad would say, "Your body rests and gets ready for a new day." But for Leo, those answers just weren't enough. They felt small. He was convinced there was a bigger, more magical answer out there, one that only the gods could provide. So, he decided to write them a letter. He took out his biggest piece of construction paper and his box of rainbow crayons. At the top, in big, wobbly letters, he wrote, "To the gods of the stars." His letter was full of wonder. He asked them if we visit other planets in our sleep, or maybe turn into stardust and dance across the Milky Way. He even drew a little picture of himself floating among smiling planets and friendly-looking aliens. After sealing the letter with a dinosaur sticker, he faced his next challenge: how to mail it to the heavens. He thought about tying it to a balloon. But what if it popped? He considered a kite, but the string wasn't nearly long enough. Then, he had a brilliant idea. He remembered his grandpa saying that the highest place in their town was the old oak tree on Whisperwind Hill. Surely, a letter left there would be closer to the gods. The next day, with the letter tucked safely in his pocket, Leo and his loyal golden retriever, Comet, embarked on their grand adventure. The journey to Whisperwind Hill was an epic quest in itself. A grumpy garden gnome became a fearsome troll guarding a bridge. A stream was a mighty river they had to cross. Every step was filled with the magic of his imagination. When they finally reached the top of the hill, the old oak tree stood there, magnificent and wise, its branches stretching out like giant arms reaching for the sky. Leo felt a sense of awe. This was the place. He carefully tucked his letter into a hollow in the tree's trunk, a secret mailbox between his world and the realm of the gods. He whispered, "Please read it," before heading home, his heart full of hope. Days turned into a week, and Leo checked the tree every single day. But his celestial mailbox remained empty. Doubts started to creep in. Maybe the gods were too busy. Maybe they didn't get his letter. He started to feel a little sad, his big cosmic question feeling heavier than ever. One evening, his grandma sat with him on the porch, watching the fireflies begin their nightly dance. She noticed his quiet mood and asked what was wrong. Leo poured out his heart, telling her all about his letter to the gods and his unanswered question. Grandma listened patiently, a gentle smile on her face. When he finished, she didn't give him a simple answer. Instead, she shared a story from her own childhood. She told him about how she used to believe that the wind carried whispers from the ancestors, and how she would stand on a hill, just like him, waiting for secrets to be carried on the breeze. She explained that maybe the gods don't answer with letters or loud voices. Sometimes, she said softly, they answer in much quieter ways, in the feeling of the sun on your face, the sound of crickets at night, or even in the stories we share with each other. She then told him her own belief about sleep. "I think," she began, "that when we sleep, a tiny part of our soul detaches and goes on a grand tour of the universe. It revisits all the stardust we're made of, says hello to ancient suns, and collects little bits of lights and dreams to bring back with it. That's why we sometimes wake up with strange, beautiful ideas, or a feeling of peace we can't explain." Leo's eyes widened. He had never thought of it like that. A part of Vim's Soul Explorer, traveling the cosmos every night? It was an answer even more magical than the ones he had imagined. It wasn't from a god in the sky, but it felt just as divine. The next day, Leo went back to the old oak tree. His letter was still there. He took it out, and on the back, he wrote a new message. "Thank you," it said. He placed it back in the hollow, not as a question waiting for an answer, but as a thank you note. He realized the answer wasn't waiting for him in the sky. The answer was all around him in his grandma's stories, in the love of his family, and most importantly, inside his own incredible imagination. The gods hadn't written back, but they had answered him through the wisdom and love of someone close to him. Leo still looks up at the stars with wonder, but his nights are no longer filled with restless questions. Now, when he closes his eyes, he smiles. excited for his soul's next cosmic adventure. He learned that the biggest questions don't always have a single answer, and sometimes, the quest for the answer is the most magical journey of all. What about you? What big questions did you have as a kid? Share them in the comments below. I'd love to read them. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that spark your imagination. See you next time.